Welcome to School Report, a glimpse into the classrooms of St. Lucie County Public Schools. School Report provides the opportunity to share with the community academic and extracurricular activities of students in our schools. And now, here is School Report.
Thank you all so much for attending our Panther Battalion's first Heroism ceremony. I would like to thank Mayor Hudson, Superintendent Gant for coming. Also our principal, Mr. Lynch. I think we should give Mrs. Vasquez, Rosario's mother, along with Miss Cobo, a round of applause for attending. This ceremony is to award Unique Rosario of Alpha Company for risking her life to save someone else's. She is a very courageous young cadet, and I am proud to know that this young lady, who embodies the characteristics of a leader, is a member of our battalion. I hope you all enjoy the ceremony, and would you all please stand for the posting of the colors and the national anthem.
Post. Colors. Battalion. Present. On.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Order. On. Left. Face. Forward. March. Let's call him March.
Cadets, please remain standing. Guests, you may be seated. Cadet Creek. Pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Motivation check! Motivation check! Please welcome Lieutenant Colonel Caldwell to the stage.
The criteria for the Medal of Heroism. The JROTC Medal for Heroism is the highest Department of the Army medal awarded exclusively to Army Reserve Officer Training Corps cadets. This award is presented to cadets who perform acts of heroism. As with other Department of the Army decorations, the award consists of a medal and a ribbon, accompanied by Department of the Army Form 638. In the Army, this award is also known as the Medal of Heroism. To be awarded this decoration, cadets must distinguish themselves by acts of heroism. The act must result in an accomplishment so exceptional, so outstanding, as to set a cadet apart and involve acceptance of danger or extraordinary responsibilities. Singer and songwriter Bob Dylan defines a hero as someone who understands the responsibility that comes with his freedom. Unique Rosario was born in Miami, Florida, and moved to Fort Pierce in the 4th grade. Her family originates from Cuba, Spain, and Puerto Rico, and has a long history of military service. Unique enjoys playing basketball, soccer, and baseball, and she tutors students in other academic subjects. She serves as a junior ROTC platoon sergeant, responsible for mentoring and training 7 other cadets. She completed the junior ROTC cadet leadership camp in the summer of 2016. She has also been awarded and maintains academic eligibility for a Take Stock in Children 4-year college scholarship, which she plans to further her education by studying veterinary science. In her hobbies and her leisure time, she likes reading about culture, animals, and exotic places. She has a special compassion towards small children. Her role models are her mother and her father, because both of them are working towards their career goals while raising 3 girls. Their commitment, compassion, and patience inspire her. On the afternoon of September the 3rd, Cadet Rosario's family was on a rafting trip on the Ichetucknee River near Gainesville, Florida. Another family floated near them during the trip that consisted of an older gentleman with a 3-year-old child on his lap in his raft, as well as 3 other children aged 7 to 9 on their own rafts. The river was unusually high, with the current faster than normal due to the recent passing of Hurricane Hermine. The water temperature was also lower than normal due to the additional rainwater, approximately 65 degrees. The landing area at the end of the rafting trip consisted of a dock at a bend in the river. The current was much swifter in this area than in other parts of the river due to the curvature of the bank. This caused Cadet Rosario's family to have difficulty in reaching the dock. Unique had just finished helping her mother onto the dock when they heard the older gentleman from the other family yelling the name of one of the children. The gentleman was still upriver from the dock, and Unique's mother happened to look downstream and saw a child struggle to the surface. The child had fallen off of his raft and had been swept past the dock and was flailing at the water, bobbing above and below the surface, obviously in distress. Unique's mother noticed a flash out of the corner of her eye and saw the splash from Unique as she dove into the swift current. Acting on instinct, Cadet Rosario had jumped into the current without any type of flotation device or life jacket. Once in the current, Unique was able to get an arm around the child when he bobbed to the surface and maintain control over him despite his panicked struggles. Due to the force of the current, she was unable to get back to the bank of the river, instead grabbing a tree branch that she was slammed into, which extended out into the water. She was pushed below the surface several times by the force of the water, meeting the tree branch, but managed to hold on to both the tree and the child until 2 kayaks were able to reach her, and eventually her father arrived on a raft. Cadet Rosario's disregard for her personal safety, her physical courage, and her ability to remain calm in the face of life-threatening danger enabled her to save the child's life. After the event, her father remarked, "My daughter set her whole world aside for someone else, someone she had never met before that day. I can only say that I am proud to call her my daughter." In her witness statement, her mother said, "She put someone else's life before hers, and I watched it all firsthand. Although she put herself in a dangerous position, the act of kindness she expressed that day is something that will forever stay with me." Cadet Rosario's actions clearly set her apart from other cadets and demonstrate her sense of personal responsibility, willingness to accept personal danger to help others, exemplary fortitude, and courage. Her actions exemplify the criteria for the Medal of Heroism. At this time, I would like to ask Mayor Hudson and Cadet Rosario to the center of the stage. Attention to orders. Department of the Army, 6th Brigade, United States Army Cadet Command. The Medal of Heroism is awarded to Cadet Unique Rosario for exemplary fortitude, courage, and heroism in the rescue of a drowning child who was swept away by the swift river currents of the Ichetucknee River following Hurricane Hermine. Cadet Rosario's disregard for her personal safety and her courage in the face of danger saved the drowning child. Cadet Rosario's actions are in keeping with the highest cadet standards of behavior and reflect great credit on herself, Fort Pierce Westwood High School Corps of Cadets, 6th Brigade, and Cadet Command. Please join me in a round of applause for Cadet Rosario.
You may all be seated. At this time, I would like to welcome Command Sergeant Major Federico Dotton to the stage.
Mr. Gent, thank you for attending today's ceremony. Mayor, thank you for attending today's ceremony. Mr. Lynch, thank you so much for allowing us to do what we do and trying to help and do our share with the school. And as I look out here, cadets, you all look awesome. You need to give yourself a round of applause. I know I don't say it often, but I love you all with an iron fist. Veterans who are here, thank you so much for attending today's ceremony. It's not, folks who know me know I probably don't talk much about my past life, but today I think it merits a story for Unique. And your mom, today is an honorable day to be here with your daughter and you receiving this award. Thank you for being here. December, I'm gonna take you guys back a couple of years. It was August 22nd, 2006. About 24 hours after I had planned an operation with some of the guys, we loaded up on an aircraft about 10 o'clock at night. We flew for about 45 minutes to a place called Yusufia to find a guy who the United States had been tracking for about a year. We got off the ground, we went to this nuclear power plant to find this guy, and we walked till about 2 o'clock in the morning to get into this power plant. There was a crane, we put a sniper team on top of that place, and as the sun was coming up the next morning, we still had not found our guy, even with thermal sights that the sniper team had. That morning, around 6 o'clock in the morning, I told one of my best guys, his name is Sarah Moore, hey, get your best team, and let's go find these guys. If you can picture a nuclear power plant, it's huge. It had an alleyway with equipment. On one side, if you're walking down, going towards the back door, on one side it was all these huge pipes of like sewage pipes. On the other side it was all metal. I was walking point, Moore was behind me. The last guy in the stack, his last name is Barberi, Thomas Barberi. He was a saw gunner. Those of you who don't know what a saw is, it's a weapon system. It fires about 800 rounds per minute. Pretty intense stuff. As we were walking down, all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. There was rounds of AK-47 fires all around me. It was panic time. if you know anybody who knows the Army, when you get into an ambush, what they train you to do is you face where the gun fires from, and you fire back. That's all they teach you. I can't explain what happened, but that's exactly what I went to do. The only problem was that Moore, who was standing behind me, grabbed me by the back of my pack that I was carrying, and he dragged me into a little hole that I didn't even know was there. With all the gunfire going around, Barberi started. I could hear that saw. It gives you a sound that you really recognize after you've been around that thing for a long time. Well, when we came out, the whole thing took about a minute. That's all it took, just about a minute. When I walked back out, there were two guys laying on the ground with an explosive vest on their chest, and so was T.J. Barberi. At that moment, I realized who had saved my life. Barberi was awarded the Purple Heart and the Silver Star on that event. Why is this important? Because I know how the family feels due to the actions of Unique Rosario for saving that young man's life. They're not here right now, but I tell you, wherever they're at, they're going to appreciate it for the rest of their life. What some view as a simple act of kindness, a person that you do that simple act of kindness for will cherish it for the rest of their life. What you have done doesn't only reflect your courage. It reflects the foundation of your upbringing and the values of a true patriot of the United States of America. Now that you've received that award, wear it proudly. You've earned it. Next, a native of Fort Pierce, someone who attended St. Lucie County schools and graduated from IRSC, graduated from the University of Florida with a bachelor's in English and history, spent 25 years in Chicago, Illinois. If you've been following the news, you know what that means. She was an associate executive initially with the American Medical Association. She retired in 2004 as a vice president of Illinois State Medical Society. She returned to Fort Pierce and became a member of downtown's farmers market, the Fort Pierce board, serving as a board secretary and also as a chairman for 4 years. Served as a member of St. Lucie County Library Advisory Board and president of the Treasure Coast Genealogical Society. Was appointed to the First Citizens Budget Advisory Committee of the City of Fort Pierce in 2010 and reappointed in 2011. In both years, served as a secretary for the committee and wrote recommendations for budgets for the City of Fort Pierce and the Fort Pierce Utilities Authority. Was elected mayor of Fort Pierce in November 2012 for a 4-year term and still serves. She is the first female to be elected as a mayor of Fort Pierce. I humbly and honorably introduce to you the mayor of Fort Pierce, Mayor Hudson.
Thank you very much. I was going to establish the fact that I am a product of St. Lucie County Schools, and I'm very proud of that. And I'm so happy to meet Unique and hear that story, because that is something to be proud of for this school, for this project, and for all of the students who can look at her and know that without thinking she did something so wonderful and so brave, and that any of you or any of us could possibly be in that situation. And it brought to mind one thing that I've heard over and over again since I moved back to Florida in 1994. If you live in Florida, you need to know how to swim. And you need to know how to save lives, because there's water all around us. And good for her for being able to do that and thinking quickly. Also, it brought to mind the fact that we're in an auditorium full of really wonderful students, and I would like for Cadet Rosario, as well as all of you, to understand that you can come home again. If you graduate from here and you go off to school and you try your wings in some other place, you can come back to Fort Pierce and have a very good life. There's many of us that grew up here. I know I was one of them, and said, I'm getting out of this small town and I'm going to the big city and I'm going to make it in the big city, but you always want to come home, and you can come home and you can be very, very successful. So we hope that all of you, if you leave, you come back, and we hope you don't leave, that you stay here and find jobs and happiness here, because it really is one of the best places on earth. And before I leave, I'd like to recognize the chair of the St. Lucie County School Board, Catherine Hensley, who has become a friend, who has just been reelected, and I know that she feels the same way about Fort Pierce as I do. I love Fort Pierce. I've got the bumper sticker on my car, and I'm cheerleading for Fort Pierce all the time, and I hope that you are part of its future. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much for attending Panther Battalion's first heroism ceremony. Guests, if you will remain seated, we would like to take pictures. Cadets, there are refreshments in the back, and we think we should give another round of applause to Rosario and her family.
If you'd like to come up and take photos at this time, all the media who are here, please feel free to come forward. Cadets.